All right. So I was thinking about psychological reality and existential reality. So what happens is that what I noticed was that we often live in our psychological realities, in the thoughts that the mind throws at us, and we start to believe that this is the truth. So, for example, we have circuits inside of our brain that link us to the past, and our imagination sort of links us with the future of what could happen. We can imagine all of it. So, now, while going through all of this, we can remember grief, we can also imagine grief, we can remember fun, we can also imagine fun, and all of these different feelings have a physiological effect. So if you were to remember something that was very sad for you, you could actually start crying, you could actually start having tears in your eyes, right? If you start to remember something fun, or you start to imagine something fun, you'll you can actually start to smile, you can actually start also laughing, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that our thoughts feel very real because they have physiological effects in our body, right? It can change the heartbeat, it can, it can also get hormones released in certain ways which can further uh, have physiological effects. So, what, what I'm saying is that our psychological thinking or the mind can make us believe that everything that is going in our head is actually really happening, because it can, in a way, trigger physiological effects. And if we are not conscious enough, we can actually sort of let that get a hold of us. But if we are conscious enough, we should also realize that there is an existential reality. There is something outside of that psychological reality, which is the existential reality, which is basically the present. So, whatever you're thinking, the past or the future, that actually does not exist, that is just either memories or imagination. And that can feel a bit like I'm trying to question your reality, because if you're someone who lives only in the memories and only in the imagination, can feel like his whole existence is being questioned. But you must also remember that we existentially only experience things in the present. So you can have memories about the past going in your head and feeling bad about it. You can have anxiety about the future and feeling, anxious about it. But if you were to cut off that imagination, and if you were to cut off those memories, what are you feeling right now? Like, for a while, if you just close your eyes and you let those thoughts pass, what do you feel? And if you do this practice for a while, you would actually realize that it's pretty empty. There's actually nothing there. And then you would also realize that our mind sort of wants to hold on to something, to identify with something. And maybe that's why it gets in this whole circles of memories and these circles of imagination, the future, right? But they don't exist. The memories are just some circuit patterns in your brain. The future is just an imagination and it does not exist. Even, by the way, all the fictional movies that are out there, fictional novels that are out there, they are just work of human imagination. They do not exist. Like, I know it can feel very obvious when I say it like this, but there are a lot of people that start identifying themselves with all these characters, all these fictional novels, and all of that, and they stop realizing the existential truth of being alive. And I mean, it's fine, but if it leads you to a place where you don't want to be, if it leads you to feeling bad, then there is something that you have to do about it. And that something is actually realizing that you have something going on in the present that you're avoiding completely. And that's just one thing that was going in my head. So that was it. I mean, I just want you to say, I just want you to know that whatever that goes in your head is just in your head. You have to maybe take a walk outside, you maybe have to get some sun to realize where you are existentially. I also actually had an example for this, um, which I was thinking about last night. So right now I'm a young dude. Like I'm in my early 20s, and I don't uh, really have a family that depends upon me. So I was thinking about this, that right now, for me, having a family and working for them and providing for them is a very far fetched goal. It feels like a goal that I have to climb up to, right? But my dad, who has been doing this like for years now, for him it's like a, like a everyday thing. So he might not think of it as something that is big, right? Because he's been doing the same thing over and over again. He might, although, go into these circles where he might think that there are some certain things that he could not do that he wanted to because of life, but that should not uh, undermine the existential truth that he is a father who is, looking, uh, that is, providing for the family. So in one way you can think that mentally that you're not in a good place, but existentially you're doing fine. Like you are living, and you're providing for a family, but still in your mental, you know reality, you're like, I've done nothing. And then you start to lose grip about what actually is. And like, just be a bit more conservative about your pace of life, right? Sometimes you want to run because obviously there is this, um, like, the social media sort of makes you think that everything should come fast, but it does not, right? It takes time. So I don't want you to go into circles of, wanting to have things fast. Just take it slow. Take it slow and don't get beat up inside here, at least. Live a bit. And living a bit, I don't mean by, um, like, having something material to get dopamine out of. By living, I really mean living and experiencing nature. And I know at this point it feels like I'm taking you out of what you want to do, but trust me, the existential side of things is not very complex. It's actually rather easy. And to experience the reality, the present, you actually have to cut off some noise. And that noise could be coming from outside, or it could also be from the inside that we were talking about. Yeah, that's it. Just be present at where you are, and be mindful of how far you have come. Yeah, that's it, guys.